I need a haircut. Look at this. It's like there's an animal living on my head. Resistance. Is this too formal? This is YouTube. You're not doing a really fancy presentation here. Resistance. Are you resisting doing the work to heal? See, I knew early on what I likely needed to do to recover from neuroplastic pain or mind-body concerns, but I felt a lot of resistance to making certain changes. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the main areas that people will often resist changing. So let's get into it. Healing ourselves is hard work, and it's difficult motivating ourselves to change things when change can feel so uncomfortable. And even for myself, I'm still resistant at times to changing things, even though I know these things will likely be helpful. I had this moment earlier this week where I felt a lot of resistance to making changes, even though I knew they would be helpful. Basically, I woke up one morning feeling really anxious and on high alert about some issues I was having with my business. And even though I don't have pain symptoms very often anymore, I know if I stay in a high alert zone long enough, I will start to get pain symptoms as my brain's gonna let me know. I knew in the morning that what I needed to do to take care of myself and progress my healing was actually to slow down my morning routine, do some yoga, and maybe do some meditation. But the urge I had, like the urge deep inside, was for me to speed up, charge into doing work, and really not take care of myself and be lost in fear thoughts and preoccupation about the issue I was dealing with. Now, this was resistance I was feeling to doing the work for my own healing. And even though I knew it was going to be helpful, I felt so much resistance to actually making this change. And to be honest, it took me about 15 minutes before I snapped into actually doing my yoga routine. I did some meditation, and what resulted was I actually felt more at ease throughout my day and much more regulated. Remember, resistance is really normal to experience as human beings when we're faced with change. So I don't want to give the attitude in this video of like blaming people for resisting their healing, because this is really typical. Everyone experiences resistance in some form. And by first identifying the areas that we are resisting changing, it gives us a sense of what we need to work on and can help us make small steps towards growth and healing. Hey, don't bite me. Ow. Say hi. Harry, everyone, Harry. Can you say hi? So here's my list of areas people are often resistant to changing during their healing journey. Feeling your feelings fully, deeply, and consistently. This is hard. Why would we allow ourselves to feel difficult emotions? They're scary, they're uncomfortable, and they don't bring about a warm and fuzzy feeling inside. However, resisting emotions actually causes our brain and nervous system to feel in more danger, which then can trigger and perpetuate neuroplastic pain and mind-body concerns. As the famous quote goes, we need to feel it to heal it. So whether you're doing journaling, emotion somatic tracking, or processing emotions in therapy, we need to learn to allow emotions to flow through us. Expressing your emotions towards others. Oh, this is a scary one. It's one thing for us to feel emotions, but it's a whole other level for us to start appropriately expressing emotions towards others. But this is vital for our healing. Listen, I get the resistance to expressing emotions towards others. What if they don't like me anymore? What if they invalidate my emotions? What if I end up alone? I know this is scary, and even for myself at times, I resist expressing emotions appropriately towards other people. But this is important for our healing. It can allow us to actually feel freer when we express emotions towards others. It can create a sense of connection with others, and it teaches us that we can allow emotions to flow through us. Setting firm boundaries with others I'm reducing people pleasing. I find a lot of people can resist setting firm boundaries with other people in their life, especially when we've used the coping mechanism of people pleasing for a long time, because it can feel risky setting boundaries with other people because we don't know how they're going to respond. However, learning to set boundaries and stand up for ourselves is really important for our healing. And so what worked for me is at first I would just set small boundaries with people, as this felt a little less dangerous. And then over time, I became more comfortable with setting boundaries, and that resistance actually reduced. And then I was able to set bigger boundaries in my life that were actually really important to me. Reducing perfectionism. This is the one area where I've probably had the most resistance. There are times in my life where I decided that I would rather be perfect than happy and at ease. I can promise this was always the wrong decision for myself. And remember, perfectionism is not your identity, right? It's not your identity. It's a coping mechanism we've learned over time, and we're able to change it. Part of the resistance to reducing perfectionism is that when we try to reduce it, we get this backdraft of shame and anxiety. And let's be honest, nobody likes that, including myself. But you're able to work through this backdraft, and over time, it will be more comfortable for you to experiment with reducing perfectionism more and more. Accepting yourself and your vulnerabilities. This builds on reducing perfectionism. And I find a lot of people are resistant to fully accepting themselves and their vulnerabilities. But we end up in this position where we're almost fighting the reality of who we are. So accepting ourselves doesn't mean we approve of all the different parts of us, but it does give us space to fully accept and be aware of all the parts of us so that we can actually start to make small steps towards growth. Also, by fully accepting ourselves, it makes us more open to doing self-compassion work, which is really important for our healing. Turning down opportunities because it's not within your window of tolerance. We all have a window of tolerance of what we can emotionally tolerate currently. Now, in the past, I've ignored my window of tolerance and where I was at emotionally. And then I would take on opportunities even though I didn't have the emotional space for them. And what results is then I would become extremely emotionally dysregulated and then have neuroplastic pain symptoms start to come on. The hard work is actually turning down these opportunities when we know we don't have the emotional space for them. And this can create a lot of sadness, but it doesn't mean it was the wrong decision for your healing. So that concludes my list of areas I find people are resistant to changing during their healing journey. So I hope it was helpful and gave you some things to think about. I believe you can all handle more turmoil and change than you think. And I encourage you all to keep going. So please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you all next time. Take care.